So I've never featured Armitron here on my channel. However, today we have a first. It is the Wave from Armitron. It's one of their newest collections. This is made out of ocean plastic. However, it doesn't feel cheap. Like a lot of other watches that I featured on my channel, specifically Timex, make a few watches that are really cheap looking, that are made out of ocean plastic. However, this is not one of them. This looks like a watch that costs a lot more than it actually does. This costs well under $100 if you get some discounts on it. And it is also an homage to the A384 from Zenith. So a really cool watch with really cool inspiration, made out of ocean plastic, but it doesn't feel cheap. So let's flip the camera and take a look at the new Armitron Wave watch that's made out of ocean plastic. So this is definitely one of the more affordable watches that I have featured here on my channel. This is the Wave from Armitron, and this is meant to look like, or at least I think what they're trying to go for, is a Zenith A384. It's a vintage reference. They've actually reissued it recently. The case here is very heavily inspired by that watch. Now, this is not a chronograph. That was. However, this obviously does look like a chronograph. So that case, very, very similar. You even have a beveled edge along this case right here, and the pushers look very similar as well. The case on this watch is actually made out of recycled ocean plastic. So that's why it's called the Wave. It's inspired by the ocean, and of course, it is made with recycled ocean plastic. So I believe it is the case and the case back. The pushers are made out of metal, and the dial is also made out of ocean plastic. The hands obviously are a metal, and then you have an ocean plastic or recycled ocean plastic strap as well. So a lot of recycled ocean plastic going into this watch, which is pretty cool. And I think it's actually a very good looking watch. They make a few different versions, and basically every color is somewhat attractive. This almost has sort of a marbled dial. So the ocean plastic, the way that they used it here, it gives you a little bit of blue, a little bit of purple, but it's all dark tones. And then you have these lime green tones as well. So where the logo is for the brand right there, that's in a lime green color. And then there's a couple little other accents sort of peppered throughout with that little lime green. Of course, the little stitching on the strap as well. The strap is basically a black strap. It's actually pretty nice. It's soft, it's thin, and it feels pretty comfortable when you have it on your wrist. This is around a 40 millimeter chronograph. So and I said chronograph, it's not a chronograph, and I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a second. It's set up like a chronograph, but it is not. So this is a 39.8 millimeter watch. You get a mineral crystal on here. This is, let's see how thick it is, 13.4 millimeters, and then the lug-to-lug on here, which is really good because that case, the A384, is obviously what has inspired this watch, is very, very tight with a lug-to-lug because of its shape. It's sort of like a barrel case, but not really. So it's 48 millimeters. The crown on here is kind of small, on the smaller side, 6.2 millimeters, somewhere around there. And they are painted in black. I don't know if it's a PVD coating or an ion coating. I would imagine at the price that this watch actually costs, it's probably an ion coating. This watch costs $99, but you go on their website, and if you sign up with an email, they give you a code, and I think you get 15% off. I think I actually got 20% off for Mother's Day, even though this is not a Mother's Day gift. This was under $80 is what I paid for this. I think it was around $79 or something like that. An excellent price, and actually a really nice watch for the money. The only thing is, like I said, it's not a chronograph, so I'm going to show you what I'm talking about right now. Right here you have the day of the week. It's really, really very, very, very faintly painted, so you can see the days, but it's really hard to see. I actually had to break out a loupe to see it. And then there is the date. The date, I think, might even be worse. So you only have just a few markings on there. So when it's between the 1st and the, I think, 15th or something like that, you're not going to be able to tell the date. You're literally going to have to count, and the markings are so small that it's almost illegible. So that's something I do want to mention. It's not really all that useful as a calendar. So you do have a calendar, and then you have a 24-hour track right there, or sub-dial, which is obviously tied to the time. So that's kind of useless as well, maybe just as a day-night indicator, but that is it. So functionality-wise, not the best watch. Looks-wise, actually a very good-looking watch. I'll throw it on my wrist. Like I said, this is around, I paid around $80, under $80 for this watch. And there aren't many watches that look this good for around $80. And again, this was made with all ocean plastic, so recycled ocean plastic. So you're getting a black case, and the dial is sort of a purplish blue black with those lime green accents. This looks really good in my opinion, especially for the price. But very quickly, let me show you what I have on my wrist, then I'll throw this guy on my wrist. Today I have on the ADLC version of the Cartier Santos, a really great watch. I recently took this on vacation with me. It comes with the bracelet and the strap, so it was really nice to be able to switch between the two. Just a great everyday watch. Well, there you go, on my 7.5 inch wrist. It kind of wears like an A384 as well, obviously because it is an homage to that watch in 40 millimeters. You can see the strap actually has a metal keeper right here, and then there is a fabric keeper as well. The strap is very, very comfortable, and overall, I think this is a very good looking watch, especially for the price, but it also fits really well, and I think when it comes to watches like this, it looks a lot more expensive than it actually costs. So I always bring that up. It's important. Feel as though you're getting something more than what you're paying for, because the perceived cost of a watch like this is probably more, but in reality, it costs around 80 bucks. So when I saw the Lume, I actually giggled a little bit because it's kind of funny. All of the hands are lumed, including those sub dials, which doesn't make any sense. In the dark, you're not actually going to be able to read them. Also, the tracks for those sub dials are lumed. They fade very quickly, but they are lumed. The logo is lumed as well. The hands are lumed, probably the best lume objects on this dial, and then you have little dots for each one of the indices. Those are lumed as well. So all in all, not terrible, but obviously it's fading very quickly. The only thing that really hangs on is the hands, and it doesn't hang on all that long, but again, this is an $80 watch. Okay, so the three questions. Is this ugly? Definitely not. This is a good looking watch. I really like the black case. I like the fact that they used the ocean plastic. I think that they did something that Timex couldn't do. They came out with a watch made with ocean plastic that actually looks good, and obviously it's an homage to a watch that we already know and love, so it definitely works. Is it cool? Definitely, in my opinion, this is a cool watch. I think when people would see this on your wrist, they would ask what it is because it looks really interesting. The only thing I don't find cool about it is the fact that it's not actually a chronograph. I think if they've made this a chronograph, it would actually be more useful than obviously the calendar, because the calendar here, not useful at all. But I do want to mention that. I think it's cool, but it's definitely not that useful, maybe just for telling time. Last question, is it worth the price? I think that might be the easiest question to answer. It's around $80 is what I paid, $99 at the retail price, so they are not charging a lot of money for this watch. It does get a Japanese movement. The only thing I would change, obviously, is the movement to a chronograph. It gets 50 meters of water resistance. I think it's really good looking. It has weird lume, which is kind of cool. It doesn't hang on very long, but that's expected for the price of the watch. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of the watch? What do you think of Armitron? I've actually never featured one here on my channel. I think it's cool that they went and did something like this. Probably one of the better looking watches that I've ever seen from the brand. I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. I will catch you in the next video.